Good morning everyone. I hope you all are staying safe and keeping well. I am Ashima Palia from Kastubra Medical College, Bangalore, and today I'll be discussing a clinical physiology case, that is case 8. So the case that we are presented with is of a 55-year-old male with a history of chronic lung disease which was diagnosed about a year ago. He also used to indulge in chronic cigarette smoking, that is about 1 pack per day for 30 years. The signs and symptoms that the person presented with was of a thin male who appeared to be in mild distress, then worsening shortness of breath, expanded anteroposterior diameter, expiratory wheezes, pursed lip breathing, and the chest X-ray also showed hyperinflation of lungs bilaterally with no infiltrates. Also, the cardiac examination was normal. Now, from these signs and symptoms and the patient history, what we gather is the differential to be of COPD, that is chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder. Now, why is that? Now, chronic cigarette smoking is seen to be the number one cause of COPD. So, COPD is basically a name given to a group of progressive lung diseases which mainly include chronic bronchitis and emphysema. Now, the cause of COPD is the chronic or long-term exposure to irritants such as cigarette smoke or chemical fumes, which might be chronic exposure to a polluted environment. Now, from our differential, we can assume that the case is either about chronic bronchitis or of emphysema. Now, why is the case not of chronic bronchitis? Chronic bronchitis is basically the inflammation of the lining of the bronchial tubes, that is the conducting pathway of the lungs which takes air in and out of the lung. Now, in chronic bronchitis, due to the irritation from the irritants, which is mainly smoke, there is an inflammatory response which induces mucociliary dysfunction and the increased number of goblet cells. This leads to increased mucus secretion. There is hypersecretion of mucus in the lungs, which leads to airway obstruction due to the mucus plug formation in the bronchial tubes, expiratory wheezes, and productive cough. Now, these patients of chronic bronchitis are known as blue bloaters. Now, why they are referred to as blue? This is because of the early onset cyanosis. Cyanosis is the blue discoloration of the skin and the mucous membrane of the patient. Now, this is caused due to the hypercapnia, that is the increased carbon dioxide content in the blood, and hypoxemia, that is the decreased oxygen content in the blood. This decreased oxygen content is mainly because of the airway obstruction, that is mucus plug formation in the bronchial tube, which inhibits the inflow of oxygen properly and hence in turn reduced oxygen in the blood. Now, why are they known as bloaters? Bloaters is basically because these patients are generally observed to be obese. Now, one other feature of chronic bronchitis for clinical diagnosis is the history of productive cough for at least 3 months for a consecutive 2 years. Now, as none of these symptoms are seen in our case, this case is not of chronic bronchitis. Now, let us see how emphysema explains our case. Now, emphysema is an incurable lung disease which is mainly caused due to the destruction of the alveolar walls and the capillary bed, pulmonary capillary bed, and the loss of elasticity of the alveolus. Now, how is that? Due to the chronic exposure of the irritants to the lung, there is an inflammatory response which induces the increased neutrophil and macrophages number in the lung and the blood, that is in the alveolus and in the blood. These immune cells release protease enzymes. Now, the neutrophils release an enzyme called elastase which breaks down elastin, which is found in the elastic fibers found in the lining of the alveolus and the ducts. Now, due to the loss of this elastin, there is loss of elasticity in the alveolus, therefore reduced ventilation, and the loss of elastic fibers in the bronchial tube leads to compression of the duct. Because there is no radial traction to oppose the forces which are acting during exhalation process of breathing. Now, the other protease enzymes which are secreted by these immune cells lead to destruction of the alveolar wall and the pulmonary capillary bed. Therefore, there is reduced perfusion. Due to all these effects, there is air trapping in the lungs, that is increased end expiratory volume. That is, it is very difficult for the lung to exhale air. Therefore, there is air trapped in the lungs, leading to hyperinflation and expanded anteroposterior diameter of the lung, which is also known as a barrel chest. Now, if there is an increased protease enzyme activity in the lung, in the alveolus, this will affect the inner wall of the alveolus. It might lead to rupture of the alveolar wall in severe cases. This will lead in the formation of a large alveolar space, one large alveolar space instead of many small alveolar spaces which are seen in a normal lung. This results in a decreased surface area. Therefore, there is decreased exchange of gases in the lungs, which is the reason for shortness of breath. Now, why does a person with emphysema does pursed lip breathing? Pursed lip breathing leads to positive pressure in the lungs. This positive pressure helps in overcoming the opposing forces which are acting during exhalation of air from the lung. Therefore, they facilitate breathing in that individual. Now, considering emphysema, it is in sync with all the symptoms that we are seeing in our case. That is thin male, that is because of muscle wasting seen in emphysema. Chronic cigarette smoking is the main cause of emphysema. Worsening shortness of breath, expiratory wheezes, breathing through pursed lips, hyperinflation of lung and a barrel chest. All of these symptoms can be explained by emphysema. So, the most probable diagnosis for our case is emphysema. Now, moving on to the management options for emphysema. So, now as we have discussed that emphysema is an incurable disease, so any damage which is caused due to this disease to the lungs cannot be reversed. But there are management options which can help us relieve the symptoms and also slow the progression of the disease. Now, the first and the foremost and the most important management factor for emphysema is to stop smoking. Now, by stopping smoking, we are reducing any further damage to the lungs. Next, we can provide bronchodilators to the patients such as beta-2 agonists like albuterol, which act on the beta-2 receptors on the bronchial tubes, thus increase the cyclic AMP levels in the cells along the bronchial tubes and thus facilitate bronchodilation. Then we can provide steroids like corticosteroids by inhalation, which help in relieving symptoms by reducing inflammation. Now, the other important management factor is the administration of vaccines like those for influenza and pneumococcus and other antibiotics to protect the body from any further infections. Also, pulmonary rehabilitation programs can be prescribed to the patient. These programs are basically to educate the patient, to provide nutritional counseling and for the patient to learn new breathing skills to make breathing, to facilitate breathing and help the patient and facilitate their lifestyle. Also, oxygen therapy or oxygen supplementation therapy can be given to the patient to facilitate breathing in severe cases. Also, in severe cases where no other management option has been able to work, lung transplant is the last management option that can be provided to the patient. Thus, these are some of the management options which we can undertake in case of emphysema. Thank you.